Hi everybody, today let's talk about the 485 visa, but under the graduate work stream. So there's actually many different streams for the 485 visa, but there's two main streams you look for when you apply after you graduate. So after you finish your studies, you're looking to apply for the 485 work visa. There are two specific streams. One is the post-study work stream, and the second one is the graduate work stream. Today, we're talking about the graduate work stream because there has been some changes to it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tracy Chen, and I'm the principal lawyer at Mason Chen Law Group. I'll drop our contact details below. And very exciting news, we also have mini courses on courses.tracymigration.com.au. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this is a temporary visa, and previously you could stay in Australia for up to 18 months. That was what the visa grant was for. But as of the 1st of December 2021, these visas have been increased to 24 months. So you should get a 24-month grant. Now that might go back down to 18 months. So we'll have to keep our eyes and ears peeled for this update because now they've changed the requirements back to what it was previously. This visa is for people who've studied a degree that is lower than a bachelor. So those who have studied a bachelor degree or higher, you would be applying for the 485 post-study work stream. This is for people who have studied a bachelor degree or higher, or there's actually another stream for people who've held a student visa as of 2011, which is a very long time ago. But if you or your parents held a student visa back in that time, you may not be eligible for the 485 visa post-study work stream. You might have to apply under this stream. If you hold a Hong Kong or British national overseas passport, you should get a grant of up to 5 years. This visa is multiple entry, so you can live and work in Australia and travel as required, and you can include your family members on this visa as well. The cost is $1,895. Generally speaking, you have to be in Australia when you apply for this visa. Your dependents can be in or outside of Australia. That gets a little bit more technical, so depending on your situation, if you are outside of Australia, there might be some exemptions, but that gets a bit more technical, so I do suggest you get proper legal advice on that. The processing time of this is pretty quick these days, so most of them are getting processed in like 1 day, if not a month or 2 months. It shouldn't take any longer than that. Okay, so let's go through the eligibility requirements of this visa. So you must be under 50 years of age. Now, when you're applying for this visa, there's a couple specific requirements. So you must be the main holder of a current student visa, or you can have held a student visa in the past 6 months, but you must be on a valid bridging visa A or B or another visa granted on the basis of a valid application for a visa. Now, regardless of that, you must have held a student visa within the past 6 months. And if that is passed already, then you wouldn't be eligible. So you must have held a student visa within the past 6 months. Now, as I mentioned, there are some concessions if you're outside of Australia to apply. But again, I would assess that on a case-by-case basis because that is only a temporary measure. So by the time you're listening to this or applying, there may be something different. So get the advice around that. You must have also finished your course within the last 6 months. So the two things you need to remember is you must have held a student visa within the last 6 months and your course must have finished in the last 6 months. Now, you must meet the Australian study requirement. So in the past 6 months, you held a student visa and you met the Australian requirement. So you completed a degree, a diploma, or a trade qualification that was registered with CRICOS. You must have successfully completed all course requirements. The study must have been in English. So you must have completed your course as a result of completing 92 weeks of study. So you'll be able to check that on CRICOS. You'll be able to see, your certificate 3, your certificate 4, your diploma, how many weeks those courses run for, and then you'll need to see that it runs for at least 92 weeks. Now, for your entire duration of study, you must have studied over 16 calendar months. So from the start to finish, it runs for 16 months at least. Now, this is where the change has happened. So previously it was different. Last couple of years, you could apply if you just finished a couple of diplomas. You didn't need to nominate an occupation, but now you have to nominate an occupation on the medium and long-term strategic skills list. So for example, if you study a certificate 3 and 4 in commercial cookery with a diploma of hospitality, these courses are all related and you can nominate the occupation of chef. So what you would do is you first need to apply for a provisional skills assessment as a chef. You would need that to apply for this 485 graduate work visa. Or potentially you did a diploma in childcare. You would be able to nominate the occupation of childcare manager. You could get a skills assessment with a relevant skills assessing body as well. You also need to meet the English language requirements. So for IELTS, it's overall 6 with a minimum 5 in each band or equivalent, so you can do PT as well. You'll need to also have health insurance. So that's your overseas visitors health cover. And for those who are applying onshore, you don't need to do a health check for now, but that's subject to change as well. So we'll have to see. At the time of launchment, you also need to have an Australian Federal Police check. So it's pretty straightforward, but I do think it gets a bit technical when you're talking about the occupation, the provisional skills assessment, and sometimes even the 92 weeks of study. So if you're a little bit unsure about it, I do think that you should get the right migration and legal advice to make sure that it's all correct, because it does happen. People apply for these and they do get visa refusals. Now, after you've lodged a visa, you probably would have paid $1,895. It gets granted pretty quickly. You should be granted for up to 24 months, and then you'll be able to live and work in Australia. During this time, a lot of people, especially who have done trade courses, they will go on to do their job ready program, which will allow them to work towards a full skills assessment to apply for permanent residency. So that would be the standard process for these applicants. So remember again, guys, this is the 485 graduate work stream. I will do another video on the post-study work stream, but this is the one that has had the major changes. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.